Hello everyone, my name is Ritika Rao and I'm a first year PGDM student from VES Business School. Today, we have with us an industry expert in the field of HR, talent management and digital analytics. He's a PhD holder and an alumnus from FMS Delhi. He's a keynote speaker in CII, IIMs, IITs and other business schools and is currently working as the Vice President for Reliance Industries Limited. Thank you, sir, for agreeing to do this and allowing us to interview you, to give us more insights into your professional journey and the corporate world.
You are welcome.
So my first question for you is, you have such a diverse profile. I mean, you're into digital transformation, you're into L&D, you're into digital HR, talent management, and the list goes on. So can you tell us something about your journey and the important milestones in your professional career?
Yeah. So in fact, whatever I'm doing, I mean, so currently it's basically shows my ability to get adopted with what is required, I mean, say in the industry. And the second part is, keeps on upskilling and reskilling myself, because if you ask me, do you know Python? I can say yes. Do you know digital data science? I can say yes. Do you know Jira? I can say yes. So it's all, I mean, my journey started with a very small town, because from where I got my schooling part and all, which is basically on the eastern part of India, a place called Jamshedpur, Ranchi and Dhanbad. So these are the three places from where I did my schooling from Kendriya Vidyalaya, also called Central School. And then from there I moved to BHU, that's the Banaras Hindu University, from where I did my graduations, masters and MPhil, and then got into FMS for completing my PhD part, my MBA. And from there in fact I joined one particular company based out of NCR, that is the National Capital Region, New Delhi, called DLF Industries. So DLF also got a good presence across India, but primarily it is more into the Delhi NCR. And that was basically, I joined as a management trainee kind of a role and all, where I worked for not even 6 months, and then I qualified for the civil services exam, which is UPSC, Union Public Service Commission. And unfortunately, I joined Ministry of Industry and Commerce as a assistant director. That was my first, I can say, job as a civil servant. And then continued around 7 years, but I didn't like, I mean, like in the sense, when I say I'm more into, into, when you talk of, there are two kind of people. One, who work for, run the business. Okay, so whatever is available, you have to just continue that one. And there are other kind of a persona who who believes more on change the business. So I was on the other side, change the business kind of a persona, individuals. And then I left, I mean, say the government job all of a sudden, and then I joined Tech Mahindra, which was basically at that point of time it was called Satyam Computers, Satyam Computer Services Limited, based out of Hyderabad was the their corporate office, but I joined in Delhi itself. And I think within 3 months I moved to Europe, a country called Denmark. And from there I started enjoying my job for which I was looking forward. So I started my career as a subject matter expert into HR, transformations, change management, talent management kind of things, where I spent almost 2.5 years worked with not only with Satyam, but also with some of the client organizations, including the UN organization, as a subject matter expert, as a consultant, you can say. And from there, in fact, onward, I work for say other countries also, like in HCL Technologies. I was based out of US, primarily in US, and some part of the APAC countries like Australia, Japan, and all. Then I moved to a company called Lafarge, which is completely into a different space. That is the manufacturing. It's a French MNCs. And I joined as a assistant vice president to that organization in HR itself for taking care of the management development programs, kind of things and all. Then after 2 years, I moved to Bangalore and joined ITC Limited. I don't know whether you know this company or not. So where I was more into the, doing the transformations from a talent standpoint of view, also working as a subject matter expert into managing end-to-end, transformations related to digital transformations, ERP kind of implementations, the business transformations. And then from last 4+ years, I'm based out of Mumbai and working for Reliance Industries. Again, I'm responsible for talent transformation and platform way of working, that is the digital transformation piece. So from last 4 years, yes, I'm with these organizations. So this is just a capsulated form of my entire journey. And in terms of my educations and all, yes, I completed last year my PhD also. So you can say I'm doctorate now. Apart from that, I did some of more, the courses which are related with the design thinking. Then courses on managing organizational change management from ProSci Washington. It's all full-time kind of a courses. Then also did my Six Sigma Black Belt from Motorola, based out of again US. So these are the few qualifications, and I still try to add some more qualifications by upskilling and reskilling myself and make myself relevant to the industry.
Correct, sir. So as you talked about Six Sigma and Python, and you're talking about upskilling, continuous upgradation of your skills, right? So what certifications would you recommend for the for us students who are into HR industry?
Okay, so before I answer, because I don't want to go for very conventional kind of reply to your question. So if I ask to the students, what is required in the industry and what you are getting, as a part of your AICTC approved, course curriculum.
Yeah.
And I usually visit, lot many, the B schools, including almost 9 IIMs I'm visiting. Also IITs and some of the tier 2 B schools also, like the MDI, then talk of IMI, then. So what I'm finding, based on this, if I ask, to the students that I require almost, 200 people certified on design thinking. So if your answer is yes, then you're relevant. If I ask, I want, 500 people having, the qualifications on DevOps, or maybe on Python or data science, or knowing NLP, natural language processing, and also these are basically the requirement in the industries. And if your answer is yes to this, then I'm saying you're relevant, you're welcome to the to the corporate world. And if your answer is no, then I refer back to one of the famous quote given by Alvin Toffler, who is a futurologist still, is very much relevant. And he said once, the illiterates of the 21st centuries are not who can read and write. Illiterates are those, who cannot relearn, unlearn, and make themselves relevant. So yes. I think the learning agility is the mool mantra for you to excel. Don't get into what you are being, taught, say from 10 to 5 in the course curriculum. You also try to see that what corporate is looking for.
You're saying basically to not limit ourselves to our curriculum, right?
Not at all, not at all.
So as you talked about your journey, sir, will you share with us some of your major challenges that you faced throughout your tenure as the vice president?
Challenges, if you talk of, in most of the organizations, when you talk of the change, because change, if you see the way we are operating, say in 2019 and the way we are operating in 2021, it's completely different. And if I ask you the same questions to the students also, the way you are getting your academic curriculum in 2019 and in 2021, you are finding a lot of differences. I think you have not done this kind of interviews in a virtual space. Now you're conducting.
Yeah.
So answer is very, very straightforward. You should, be, say, adaptive to the whatever is coming new, and your learning agility is going to decide. Because if you ask me, the way say the learning is also changing currently. If you see a lot of the organizations, be it a Badges, or you talk of any of the top 10 universities, be it Oxford or Stanford and all, they all are on the virtual mode, and the entire learning is available 24/7 on your fingertips. Just take your mobile phone, smart mobile phone, type whatever you want, you will get 100 non-curated materials available, with video, without video, white paper, or a lot of publication in journals. So if you see the the informations and the knowledge is already available. Now you have to decide that which particular the informations or a knowledge is good for you. That is called the curated knowledge. So the trend is basically getting into a micro learning, that is the bite-sized learning. So you cannot talk of even if you take in the corporate and all, most of the training was happening into the classroom kind of a model. But now all the trainings, I'm telling, in last 1 year, 100% training is happening on the virtual mode. And I used to take a lot of, in fact, before coming to this particular session, I was taking sessions with the Symbiosis.
Yes.
And it was again on the virtual mode. So the last 1 year, I have not seen, any of the session is happening into the physical mode. Even award function is also happening, it's on the physical.
Virtual.
Of all the students, it's all virtual. Even if if you see the summer interns, those who are coming, they are onboarding virtually, they are completing the project virtually, they are giving the presentations on the outcome virtually. So everything is now virtual.
Correct.
So you need to be a very balanced on your emotional intelligence, your social intelligence, and adaptability.
Yes, so true. Sir, and given the current economic slowdown, what according to you would be its impact on the HR industry and in the era of digital transformation? And any solution that you would recommend?
So first, I just want to cut you here that nothing is going to slow down. The economy is completely it's in a very very inorganic the growth. And if I take the example of some of the reports published just a month back by India Skill report 2021, which was done by McKinsey, they are talking of the number of the jobs or the employability. If I talk of in 2015, it was 37%. So the people, those who are getting employed to the corporate, was 37%. Yes. And in 2021, it has gone up and it is now 46%. So to be very precise, it is 45.91%. So where is the downtime? I don't see that there is any downtime, because organization, if you see it, yes, I think initially when the lockdown started, say for 3 months, it was lockdown. And if you take the manufacturing organizations, or even IT was never down. I mean, say the service industry was continued even during the lockdown period also. But some of the manufacturing organizations, the core organizations, they have gone little bit slow, maybe stopped for almost stand still for say 1.5 months. But after that, the way they have moved up, they have changed the gear. And if you see in terms of the production, do you know, so what was the car productions in last year during the same period, and what is the car production or automobile production, or even the sales? It has gone 100-fold up. So economy is not slowed down. So the only thing is that our perception got slowed down. You need to challenge your perception and get into how quickly you can get adopted to the new normal, or the next normal will be more working from the remote. And if you take the some of the the publications by the LinkedIn, they are talking of going forward, almost 84% of the job will be handled remotely. And that's the report published in 2021. Even if you take the World Economic Forum, they are also talking of almost 15 million jobs will be created into the the new technologies which are more into a digital side, which are related with the digital marketing, which are related with the graphic design, which are related with the AI, which are related with the NLPs. So try to grab those opportunities in spite of saying that economy is slow down.
No doubt, right. Absolutely true, sir. So based on your experience, what would you say are the prerequisites and the core foundational skills that an aspiring manager in the field of HR should get acquainted with?
So in HR, I think there are few very necessary skills, and I feel all the HR should get into that. If you see, I mean, some of the reports published on, particularly on the HR side, I'm talking of, which is more into the soft skills. So the first and the foremost thing is the skill is design thinking. So that is one of the prime requirement. The second is of course related to problem solving and the critical critical thinking. Then fifth is the emotional intelligence. Then sixth is related to problem solving skills, or I can say it the lateral thinking. The sixth will be related to innovations and the creativity. So these are the the areas. Even the the agile thinking is also one of the important part. So better you should come out from the fixed mindset. Still, I am finding that students, not only students, even the teaching fraternity is also still in the fixed mindset, and there is no, I mean there is no stop on the requirement of the organizations or the corporate world. Still they are ramping up. They look for more competent people, and when I'm saying competent people, don't talk of this particular skill is only for the engineers. If I ask you a very simple question, that what is the requirement of a Python to the HR people, or what is the requirement of a data analytics or a data science for the HR people? Your answer will be, sir, this is more required for the engineers, not for the MBAs.
Yes.
But I'm sorry to say, because these are basically the technologies. These are basically a software. Even if you talk of SQL, if you talk of some of the visualizations tool related to Tableau, Superset, Zooms, and all. So these are basically visualizations tools. So what I say, I may say with a strong convictions that applications may be related to technology and maybe related to non-technologies, but knowing that particular skill is important for us. So you can apply Python, even in HR. You can apply data analytics piece into the HR in terms of doing the talent analytics part, or you can talk of the recruitment analytics part, or if you wanted to have the employees data, you should know the Python or say R kind of a languages which can extract the data from the data lake based on your requirement, create a model based on your requirement. So for example, if I take a very small business case for HR, that I just wanted to know, I mean, how many employees are working in my organizations, having experience of 10 years working with the financial sector. You have to just put a query by knowing only SQL, and the entire data will be pulled from the data lake, and you will find that all the informations are already been extracted, modeled, and displayed on your visualizations tool called Tableau. So what kind of I can say the skill set is not required for the HR? That's the question. I say the application may be a different, but you should know it, because that's going to be a differentiator for you. If you say, okay, I don't want to learn Python because Python is more related to the coding part, more related with with the engineers and all, then my answer is I'm sorry to say that you must learn those skills also, because that is going to be a differentiator for the MBA HR.
Right. So we should be acquainted with the basics of everything.
Yes.
So you've been in the industry for now more than 20 years, right? So how would you say the hiring process or the talent acquisition has evolved during these years?
If you take the example of, I mean, say my organizations to start with, it's all virtual. We are doing all onboarding virtual. We are doing all recruitment virtually. We are even doing the all the summer training virtually. So now the virtual the virtual way of working or a platform way of working is going to be the new normal for everybody. It's a mool mantra for organizations to excel on it. And the adoptions is, I think, if I see, it has already happened almost a year back. So now people are very accustomed with this kind of the environment. And so for the hiring is concerned, again I am saying none of the organizations, they have said that they are not going for the hiring. The only business operating model is changing now, in spite of being being in the physical mode of the office or working physically into the office. Now it has gone virtually. So if you see the one of the report being published by World Economic Forum, where he's talking about almost 150 million jobs which are coming into the new technology, which will be more into the digital, and 84% of the workforce are going to work remotely, either quasi remotely or fully remotely. So try to get into this, and even the recruitment is also going to happen. It's already happening. I mean, say the remotely only. So yeah, so you need to get into that kind of that's the new operating model for everybody, and get accommodated and also adopted to this way of working.
So, sir, my last question to you is, the sudden pandemic has instilled a fear among the students regarding the recruitment process and everything. So how do you think COVID has affected the recruitment of freshers in the past, and what will be its effect in the future?
I don't see, I mean, the recruitment is getting, it was a bit slow down, and that was only in Q1 and Q2 of the last year.
Okay.
And I've given you the data also, if you refer that, even you can Google and find this particular India's Skill Report 2021, where he's talking about the recruitment got slowed down in Q1 and Q2, but Q3 onward, it's all, moving very fast. And the percentage of, the employability is also increased. And there are, the three major trends which are coming. And I think we need to understand that particular trend in terms of, upskill or reskill or yourself, because now it's a era of super skilling. It's not, like some of the big corporate house, they started talking about the super app. Similarly, we also started talking about the super skills. So when I'm saying super skills, basically you need to see, what makes you to be relevant into the market, irrespective of whether you're in HR or a finance or a marketing. If I ask the marketing people, how do you find the future of digital marketing? The answer will be 1000%, it's relevant. Similarly, if I ask, to the HR fraternity, how you are finding the analytics piece to the HR, again, the answer will be 1000% relevant. So if I ask you that how much you are relevant, then there will be a, I do have, some kind of a lack of confidence on saying that 1000%, because still we are thinking of, somebody will come and he will recruit and he will take you for that. Yes, I think that's a true understanding and expectations from the corporate world, because when the corporate, go for a recruitment, they see only one thing, they select for the attitude and they train for these skills. And when I'm saying attitude should be always positive. And when I'm saying positive, means that you need to, distinguish yourself. What differentiators you do have? Because if you see every year, lakhs and lakhs of the MBAs are passing out from the B schools. But some are getting, 40 lakhs as a CTC, some are getting 1 crore as a CTC, some are not even getting, employment to the industries. So what is the reason? And if you have an answer to that, then try to adopt, the gaps. Find the gap and try to make yourself how you're going to fill the gap, because still you are in either in first year or in second year of your courses. So you have a lot of time to, to think, rethink, redesign yourself and then accelerate.
So I think the answer is keep improving your agility, right?
Yeah, keeps on improving. I mean, say learning agility, learning agility is the mool mantra, I am telling you.
Correct.
You should be very agile on learning. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking out time from your busy schedule to interact with us and giving us a glimpse into the professional world of HR and talent management. It was an enriching and profound session, giving the students of our college substantial and noteworthy insights required to plan a successful career in human resources. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks to everybody.
Thank you so much.
And wish you a nice day, nice
Thank
weekend.
you. Same to you, sir. Have a good day. Thank you.